Hey guys, and welcome to a new video here on the Shreducator YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel Knorr, but you can also call me the Shreducator because that's what I like to do. I like to shred. But today's video is brought to you in cooperation with Ortega guitars, so I'm actually not only here to shred, but also to show you the content of this beautiful box of joy. This is the Ortega guitars ODWS1 wireless system. So the name says it all. This is a digital wireless system for musical instruments. So a couple of weeks ago, my good friend Frank Schmauser from Vinyl Distribution asked me if I could check out the ODWS1. And I was like, okay, I mean, I actually have a wireless system and it kind of works and I'm, not too much into that stuff, but well, I mean, there's nothing to lose. So send it over and I'm gonna check it out. By that time, the only problem was that I've been on tour with my German heavy metal band Majesty to spread some epic shred all across Europe. So we wouldn't stay longer than one day at any place and I was not able to get anything, by shipping basically. But when I took a closer look to our touring schedules, I realized that we had a gig in Leipzig, a city in Eastern Germany. And by that same time, there was a new music fair going on there, which is called Music Park, I think. And I've seen that there were a couple of brands present that are actually part of Vinyl Distribution. So when we arrived at Leipzig, I took a cab directly to the fair and I had a very cool time hanging out with the guys from Ibanez, with my buddies Frank and Daniel, and also with the guys from Ortega guitars. And yeah, they basically gave me this little guy over here. So the first thing I thought when I got this package was, okay, that's kind of small. I mean, that is my smartphone and that is the wireless system. So I mean, the whole package is twice as big as my smartphone. And the other wireless solutions I've used to that point, they were kind of really big pieces of gear, Most of them were rack based and the one that I was using to that point was, directly mounted to my pedal boards, since I'm currently using the Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 floor amp, which is awesome. And I was like, okay, I gotta get a very small solution that fits into a pedal board. So, I mean, but still then the wireless system I used was just the receiver was twice of the size of a regular wah-wah. So way bigger than, whatever could fit into that little box. And I knew that some of my colleagues would use smaller solutions, but most of them would tell me that they are not very reliable when playing live and that they only like to use them in the studio, where you can basically fix everything at any time without any problems or pressure. The first thing I did was obviously trying that thing out at soundcheck, and we had a camera guy with us, so I asked him to film my first reaction on the wireless system, which was basically surprisingly good. And that is what I'm gonna show to you now. So now, as you can see, I'm directly in front of my board over here, and as it is supposed to work, it works. So let me just move a little bit around this area. So I'm now at the merge booth, which is approximately, I'd say 7-8 centimeters away. The pedal board still works. The toilet, which is even further away, and we also have a thick wall between me and the receiver, and as you can hear, it still works. Ich gehe kurz raus, lass weiterlaufen. I'm at the backstage, which is also approximately 12 meters away. It still works. Let me get outside on the road.
So, here we are in beautiful Hamburg, outside of the venue. Let's walk around a little. I can't hear anything, but I'm wondering if it's still working. So, you know, in my back over here you can enjoy the beautiful cityscape of Hamburg. And you know, it's also feeling to be outside of here and still play guitar with the plug-and-play wireless receiver. So let us go through the main entrance. Hey guys. Hey. Hello. Hey. Are you looking forward to the show?
Yes.
Sure. Me either. So you can enjoy some of heavy metal's best fans in the world. Yeah. And it's still working. Awesome. Oh, wow. Nothing to say about it. So that easy. You gotta plug it into your amp basically, plug the other one into your guitar, and without further ado, it works.
Awesome, right? That little wireless system will actually work as good as anything I've used before, and it's just way cheaper and way smaller and way more usable. So let's get a little bit into detail now. So let me open that box for you guys. That is it. That is what one would need to, make everything run. The package includes one receiver and one transmitter, business as usual. But something that is not really usual is that, receiver and transmitter are in the same size. One of these guys is basically as big as my thumb. So that would give anyone, like a whole new level of flexibility, because you can basically jump into any plane and don't book any baggage at all, but just bring your hand luggage and you can put it into that. And something I was kind of missing was a power supply, because to the best of my knowledge, every receiver would need a constant power supply when you run it, but this system is a little different. So what is included instead of a power supply is this awesome USB cable. So we got a usual USB mount on the one side, and this cable splits up into two mini USB cables. So that means that you can basically charge two mini USB devices at the same time. So I kind of gotta admit that I've not only used that for the odws one, but also to recharge like mobile phones and PlayStation controllers, and even Alexa and Echo Dot if I needed. So Alexa, just 9. So to make this clear, you don't have to put the receiver to a constant power supply when you want to use it. You just charge it and then put it wherever you want. So that means one cable less on stage, in the studio, wherever, and I hate cables. So I can basically just grab this transmitter and plug that into any amp and it works. Awesome. Talking about charge and all that stuff, let's get a little more technical. For me, one of the most impressive features of the odws-1 is that the transmission of the audio signal works by using a 2.4 GHz wireless system. So some of you guys might know that 2.4 GHz term from internet and Wi-Fi. 2.4 GHz systems are generally known for their very good range and their reliability. And that explains why that little tiny system would work all over the venue that you just saw in the live footage, just a second ago. I use a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi system in my house, and the building, it has 3 floors, and there's good internet connection wherever I am. I knew that that 2.4 GHz system exists and is used for Wi-Fi data transmission, but I didn't know that this also works for transmitting audio signals. That is a very progressive and modern feature that also brings a couple of other advantages. And the biggest advantage for me is that I don't have to worry about frequency issues anymore. So let me give you guys an example. A couple of years ago, I was touring as a session musician with a local rock star from Sri Lanka, and we also played a couple of shows in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And the Abu Dhabi show, took place very close to an airport. And I used my in-ear transmitter there, and it would not really work. All I had on my earphones was, basically planes and pilots communicating with the airport tower, because there was basically some kind of frequency issue that would not allow me to use my Wi-Fi system in the way I would like it to use. So the 2.4 gigahertz system is basically completely independent, and you don't have to worry about any kind of frequency issue. Doesn't matter wherever you are and wherever you play in this world. Another very big deal for me is that the ODWS1 can use 4 different channels. So let me give you another example where this feature might be useful. Let's say you're playing in a studio like that, and you are an amp lover like me, and you have many different amps that you love to use for different situations and different sounds. And let's say that you want to get a setup that allows you to switch between different amps without, changing any cables or buying very expensive high quality split systems or anything. So the solution is basically the ODWS1, because you can basically plug 4 different receivers, these guys, into the input jack of 4 different amps, and then just switch channels on the transmitter that you plug into your guitar. So you don't have to change anything, just switch channels, and you can play whatever amp you want. You can switch when feeling like switching without changing anything. So definitely a very big advantage for me. And I know that there are a couple of guys out there that claim that a good cable always sounds better than any wireless system. And I guess for most, or for at least some of the wireless systems out there, that is kind of true. I also had very bad experiences, especially with cheap wireless systems, because they would cause some loss of gain and output, and also a loss of high frequency, and basically many negative effects that would affect my sound in a way that I would like it to affect my sound. But if you use the ODWS1, you don't have to worry about these kind of issues anymore. All the audio signal that is transferred between the receiver and the transmitter has a bitrate of 24 bits and 48 kilohertz. And these are basically standard values for any professional studio out there. The audio signal is perfectly clear and not affected by anything that would change your sound. The transmitter and the receiver, both of them have a built-in battery that promises to last at least 2,500 charging cycles. And with just one charging cycle, you can play up to 5 hours. From what I've experienced myself, when playing a headlining set, we always play around like 90-95 minutes. So just one fully charged battery lasts 3 gigs, 3 headlining gigs for me. But let's say that you're playing in a cover band that has a set of 3 to 4 hours, whatever, this thing would last without any problems. So not only for comfortable use in the studio, but also for expanded live sets, this is a very good solution. Talking about comfortable use in the studio, I gotta admit that I kind of got used to use the ODWS1 every time that I like to play guitar, which is a lot. And not only because of the great quality, but also because of me hating cables. And I don't know about you guys, but I've smashed so many things because I forgot to plug out my cable from the amp. And if I stick to the ODWS1, which I will most likely do, I won't have this type of problem anymore, which saves me and everyone around lots and lots and lots of money. And talking about bad habits that humans kind of have, I tend to forget a lot of things and also to switch off the gear. And that is not a deal breaker, but I like to be efficient with my use of energy. And something that is really cool for me is that the ODWS1 basically switches into a standby mode when no audio signal is transferred between receiver and transmitter, and for 10 seconds. That is what I call efficiency. Last but not least, especially the metal people out there will know that some of our guitars have like strange input jacks, and I have like 20 guitars, and I have V's, I have Cyphers from Ibanez, I have very strange shapes that have very strange or even stranger input jacks, and all the wireless systems I've used till that point had a little patch cable that is used to connect the transmitter and the guitar. And when playing live, I want to make sure that I look cool on stage and there's not much stuff that looks out of place hanging around at my body. So most of the times I end up trying to hide the cable that it isn't jerking around anywhere. And I've seen some patch cables breaking because of that, because they kind of get squeezed when trying to put them in a good position for playing. And since the ODWS1 does not use any patch cable or anything and is very flexible, as you can see here, you can basically do whatever you want and it still fits and works. In Europe, the ODWS1 is currently sold for around 129 euros, which, to the best of my knowledge, is way cheaper than anything that is, like even close to being competitive quality-wise and usability-wise, and that I've used in the last years of my professional career, basically. In the end, I'm really happy that I accepted to check out the ODWS1 because it kind of changed a lot for me when it comes to usability. I can accept a clinic in America, I can jump into the plane, go there and plug and play, that's it. And that is something that I've never thought would be possible that easy before. When you're looking for a cheap, reliable and user-friendly wireless system for your guitar or bass or acoustic guitar or ukulele or whatever uses the standard instrument input, you should definitely check out the Ortega ODWS1. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This means the world to me, and I'm basically trying to grow a new YouTube channel which is all about shred and gear and every cool topic that is connected to the electric guitar and music in general. So thank you so much for watching. You could really support me by subscribing, liking the video, sharing the video with your friends, commenting, maybe even turn on the notification bell. That would help me out so much, and I hope that we're gonna see us again in the next video. Cheers and shred on!